Up, everybody? All right, we have 10 more cards. And by the time you see this video, Descent of Dragons is already out. Actually, the video before this, if you want to check it out, was I opened all my packs. I got the 100 pre-release or pre-order, and I pulled some awesome stuff. One of them being a golden legendary, so check that out. And also some first gameplay footage in that video. So decided to, because I was so high on Toxic Reinforcements, made a Toxic Reinforcements Mech Hunter face deck. I don't know. I'm making that a thing. So anyways, we got 10 more cards. I'm going to try to not be biased, being that I've played some now. And obviously, it is one thing that I've learned so far with this is that next time I do a pre-release on a set, I'm going to wait to give the star ratings until all of the cards are released and just review them on a more of a basic basis and then have a video with all the star ratings on the cards. So that'll change for next time. But until then, we got 10 more cards and I hope you enjoy the video. First up, we got Shrubadier. So this is the glorious, the pillar to the Treant deck. Or I shouldn't say pillar. It's probably Goru, which I'll get to in a second. So, but Shrubadier basically adds the cherry on top. It adds the glue to everything else. It gives you that nice, cheap 2-drop that starts populating the field with Treants. Then, when you pair it with stuff like Goru, the Might Tree, like Tree Enforcements, Treants are gonna be a thing. Now, being that I have played, I actually haven't gone against any Treant decks yet, but it just seems too good to not be a thing. So even knowing that I haven't seen any yet, I'm sure this deck will be great. And the second card of these 10 is actually going to be Aeroponics. So Aeroponics is great draw, right? But the reason why Aeroponics will be legit broken OP is because of a previously released card. If you guys don't remember it, Garden Gnome. These two are a match made in heaven. You got Garden Gnome on turn 4. It's very possible to be able to play Aeroponics for free on turn 4. 0 mana, draw 2 cards. Seems pretty nice to me. So Shrubadier gets a 4 out of 5. I almost want to give it a 5 out of 5, but only 4 out of 5 because it doesn't do anything insanely cool, but it is a solid 2-drop. And Aeroponics easily gets a 5 out of 5. Wait. If you like this video, then like this video. There's a button for that. You should press the button. And then you should hit the subscribe button because then you can get more video alerts for other stuff that you can like. See how that works? So next up, we're going to shift gears here a little bit to Elemental. So we got the new side quest for Mage, Elemental Allies. This thing is nuts. Now, again, I don't know, what the meta is going to fully turn out to be like, if Elemental Mage will be a thing or what they're going to do, or if it's Aggro Mage, which we'll get into in a second. Paying 1 to draw 3 spells seems pretty good. I mean, Arcane Intellect is draw 2 for 3 mana. So I'm gonna go with a 5 out of 5 on this one. Aggro Mage, Aggro Spell Mage, more specifically, I think is definitely gonna be a thing. So to further enhance the Aggro Spell Mage, we have Violet Spellwing. So this is a great 1-drop. This is just a solid 1-drop. I mean, for basically 1 mana, you get to draw a card, be that, Arcane Missiles, but with all the other, spell damage modifiers possibly that you'll have in your deck and things that combo with low-cost spells, this seems to be a no-brainer. Plus, the reason I'm giving this a 4 out of 5 instead of a 3 out of 5 is because it's Elemental. So the effect, especially in comparison to all the other broken cards in this set, is good, but it's not like 5 out of 5 worthy. But it does get the 4 out of 5 because of the Elemental tag. It's a trigger for a lot of the Elemental cards, including what we just went over in Elemental Allies. So I do think this will be a staple if Aggro Mage or Aggro Spell Mage starts to become a thing. And speaking of Aggro Mage, we have Mana Giant. And this thing, I don't know what, Flame Wreathed Faith. Wow. Alright, literally every other video I've said this card's name, I screw it up. Flame Wreathed Faceless. That is a tongue twister. It keeps popping up with all these cards that come out. It's another, I forget the name of the card. It's a 5/7. Spell damage +2, 4-drop, overload 2. Same thing as Flame Wreathed Faceless. Got it? And it just, I keep comparing it to so many cards because there's so many cards in the set that come turn, 3, 4, and 5. You have this huge body on the field. This is no different. Cost 1 less for every spell that didn't start in your deck. I mean, if you have that the Spellwing, which you just went over, you know, right there, if you can draw 2 of those in the beginning of the game, that's 2 spells. And then you have stuff like Magic Trick and Tome of Intellect, which have already been in the game for a while. It's really, it's quite possible to get this out pretty early. Probably not turn 4 very often, just because, I mean, you pretty much have to draw perfect for that to happen. But turn 5 or 6 is very doable, and you have an 8/8 body. So, and it's an elemental, so it synergizes with all the elemental stuff. So I definitely think this gets an 5 out of 5. I almost said 8 out of 5. You know what? Screw it. It gets an 8 out of 5. And this will definitely see some play in whatever aggro mage deck comes afloat. And again with the mage, Rolling Fireball. Do I even need to say it? I mean, this is nuts. I mean, for 1 more mana than a regular fireball, you get 2 additional damage and the opportunity to spread it across whatever minions are on the field. So, not whatever, it's kind of limited in that sense, and you can't go face with it. I think that's a pretty good trade-off. I mean, 8 damage to multiple minions for 5 mana, that's some pretty heavy removal. So, we're going with a 5 out of 5. Alright, next up, we have 2 cards that are both similar. We got Lightforged Zealot, and we have Lightforged Crusader. So, basically, the idea with these is that you do not play neutral cards in your deck. So, I guess this is a new Paladin theme that they're trying to introduce. And honestly, they're the only ones in the game that have that neutral effect. So it's similar with the Highlander decks where you can't have duplicates in your deck. It's a deck building limitation. I don't think it's going to be that great, mainly because, I mean, there's not enough support for it. You only got 3 cards. So that leads me to believe that future sets are going to have more of this. And there's so many other good Paladin decks. You have Mech. You have Ramp now with the other dragon, the 4-drop, you know, everybody goes to 10 mana. You have Highlander. Now there is another card in the set called Wormrest Purifier that essentially would allow you to play neutral cards until you play it, and then it changes all those neutral cards into random pally cards. So it's a 2-cost, 3/2. It doesn't really blow my mind. So I just don't really see this being that great. This card in particular is basically a 0-cost 4/2 minion if you get it, you know, if you actually build your deck around that. And I don't think that's worth building your entire deck around. Now the next one is a little bit better. So this one gets a 2 out of 5. The next one, still not good, so it only gets a 3 out of 5. But it does lead the way for maybe a control type Paladin with no neutral cards in it. Lightforged Crusader, 7-cost, 7/7. So it's a decent body. And you get 5 random Paladin cards in your hand. So that's definitely some serious card advantage. But, I mean, they're random. It could just be crap random secrets. And Paladin has a lot of those. So I don't, you know, I don't really see this being an archetype. This might be something for the future if they release some more cards. But for now, the other one gets a 2 out of 5. This gets a 3 out of 5. This ain't going to get played. All right, we got 2 more left. And the first one is Skyclaw. This is... wow, I mean, this is paving the way for a new aggro mech Paladin deck. This combined with something like Micro Mummy is insane. I can attest to it. I played against a deck that ran just that. Granted, I think Pirate Warrior might still kind of outshine this deck, but the card itself is amazing. So it gets a 5 out of 5. It's just, it does so much damage. When you have other mechs out there, it buffs them too. So definitely a 5 out of 5. All right, and finally, I first have to apologize for ending on a bad note. It's probably, in my opinion, one of the worst cards in the set. Righteous Cause. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5. I just don't... for 1 mana, you get +1/+1 to all minions, but you have to complete the side quest. So if you compare this to something like Power of the Wild, that costs 2 mana. You don't have to complete anything special. And you get like an extra, you know, you can do something else effect. So... now you just have to, now you have to summon 5 minions on top of that. The only way this is worth it is if you do draw this turn 1 with something like Skyclaw. You'd have to have like a perfect opening, and then you just have all these buffed minions. But I don't see that being played, because later in the game, it's like useless late in the game. So this is getting a 1 out of 5. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to leave on a bad note there. But the good news is that I am going to have a lot more gameplay footage coming up. I am going to finish reviewing the rest of the set. I'm playing a lot lately. I'm trying to build a ton of different decks. Hopefully I can get those videos up for you guys. Until then, as always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate everybody's support. I hope that you got some value out of this. I hope you guys are having a blast with Descent of Dragons, building and deck crafting and theory crafting, all sorts of decks. And are playing a lot of competitive. I need to rank up a little bit because I was MIA for like 2 months because they released Ragnaros back into the wild and all these other cards that made the game like cancer. So I did not play. So I got bumped back in rank. I think I'm like 17 or something like that. So I gotta grind it out a little bit, but I think I got some pretty nice decks that'll get me up there pretty soon. So again, thank you very much for watching. As always, stay positive and peace out.